On my wedding day, scheming Lucy secretly switched my bridal sedan. She got her wish and married the glorious top scholar while I was carried into the general's manor everyone avoided. The second I stepped out of the sedan, an egg smashed into me. Everyone around burst out laughing, pointing and gossiping about me. So this was the place I was supposed to marry into? The Zhenbei general's manor, rumored to have killed 3 wives. Get out, I don't want you as my mom. I froze for a second, feeling liquid drip down from my red bridal veil. I immediately reached to take the veil off. Miss, that breaks tradition. Only your husband can remove the veil. You really expect me to sit under this cloth all night? Or is there something you don't want me to see? I wouldn't dare, miss. The boy who had thrown the egg came over too, staring at my face again and again. You're not Lucy. I'm Lucy's younger sister, Anna. May I ask, is this the general's manor? Ha, what a bunch of idiots. You brought the wrong bride. No wedding now. I'm telling my dad to kick all you idiots out. Mary watched the boy run off, a flash of anger in her eyes. She tried to stand again, but I pressed her shoulder down hard. Mary, if I remember right, the general's manor was where my sister was supposed to go, and my bridal sedan was supposed to be carried to the top scholar's manor. Miss, I can't read, I really don't know. I let out a cold laugh and looked at the wedding escort team. They were all trembling in fear. I'll get to the bottom of this later. Go notify my father and Tom's family separately. They all agreed, but every single one of them moved slower than the last. I slowly started to understand. Moments later, firm, heavy footsteps approached. If she was brought here by mistake, send her back immediately. I turned my head and locked eyes with the owner of this manor, General Jack. His gaze on me was strangely intense, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. I also looked him over carefully. Jack was more than 10 years older than me. Today was clearly his wedding day, yet he had returned from who knew where, still wearing blood-stained armor. He was covered in chilling, battle-worn aura. Honestly, if I had a choice, I really wouldn't want to deal with someone like him. Dad, hurry, kick her out. Jack only answered lightly, then looked back at me again. I gave him a small smile. He stepped closer, his gaze burning into me. You're Anna? I was about to bow and answer when a servant rushed over. General, someone from the top scholar's manor is here. Jack lowered his eyes, hiding the emotions from just now. Since they sent someone, switch the sedans back before the lucky hour passes. I sighed inwardly. This bridal sedan probably couldn't be switched back anymore. Logically, Lucy should have gotten out of her sedan around the same time as me. For Tom's manor to send someone this fast meant they had prepared for this. General, their messenger said the bride and groom have already entered the bridal chamber. Absurd. This marriage was arranged by our ancestors. How can they treat it like a joke? Tom writes brilliant essays, but his brain is this unclear? Miss Anna, what do you think? He turned to look at me, hesitation in his voice. I wiped the corner of my eye, acting fragile and completely helpless. I'm just a young woman. I'll follow my family's arrangements. I already had the escort team notify my parents. They should be here soon. What rotten luck. Your family keeps dragging this out and wasting our manor's time. I'm starving. My grandmother had these wedding cakes prepared in case I got hungry while waiting. Young lord, if you don't mind, have one to fill your stomach. Who wants to eat something that dirty? Get lost. The guards were about to chase him down and scold him when another servant ran in. The bride's family sent word too. They also hope our manor will just go along with the mistake. Uncle Han, if this mistake hadn't happened, a good marriage like the general's manor wouldn't fall to a concubine's daughter. He muttered to himself, but how is this considered a good marriage? Miss Anna, if you have any thoughts, just say them. I, Jack, will never force you. I pretended to feel dizzy. My foot slipped, and just as I was about to fall, Jack reached out and caught me in his arms. General, you're brave and powerful. I know I'm not worthy of you. But after what happened today, if I get sent back home, I'll become the joke of the entire capital and never find a decent marriage again. If you don't mind me, I'm willing to stay with you. General, will Miss Anna be brought into the manor as the lawful wife? From now on, Anna is the lady of my general's manor. With that, he kicked the door shut. The moment the door slammed closed, I caught a sly smile at the corner of Mary's mouth. Don't disturb her. Let her sleep as long as she wants. After that ridiculous night, Jack had to leave early to inspect the training grounds. Half asleep, I heard him give quiet instructions. A strange feeling stirred in my heart. After he left the manor, I got up right away. Amy was a maid from the general's manor. She was quick and efficient, but her mouth never got a break. Madam, those maids you brought from home are awful. That Mary is supposed to be your personal maid, right? On such an important day, how could she be so careless? I smiled faintly and said nothing. Amy got even more upset on my behalf. In less than a month, I had firmly taken control of the household affairs, and everyone in the manor followed my orders. Jack was even surprised to see how properly I managed everything. The little schemes in the general's manor were nothing compared to my family's backyard. Besides, in my last life, I had gone through fights 100 times crueler. It all started when I woke from a nightmare. Lucy and Jack had been engaged since childhood, but when Jack was young, he followed his father to war. Years later, he returned to the capital with a title and a child at home. Rumor in the capital said the child was Jack's son with a woman from the army. Lucy felt conflicted and refused to accept a new family member so easily, but Jack's rank had already risen above my family's. Even though my father and stepmother loved Lucy, they didn't dare go cancel the engagement. So they came up with the bridal sedan switch. Lucy had already hooked up with the top scholar Tom. His family was poor. Compared with me, of course, he would rather marry the legitimate daughter of my family. In my nightmare, my past self noticed something wrong with the sedan right away and made a huge scene. I forced them to switch it back, so I never understood why Tom suddenly hated me so much. All I knew was that, starting the next day, he kept bringing concubines into the house. I was dragged into endless household fighting and went from an innocent girl to a bitter woman trapped in the estate. When I found out I was pregnant, I thought my suffering was finally over, and I had someone to rely on. But when I went to Tom's forest villa to surprise him, I found him and Lucy holding each other in panic. I panicked and tried to run, but accidentally stepped on a branch. Tom, General Jack can never find out about us. So Tom stabbed his sword through my belly. Two lives gone at once. After waking from that nightmare, the first thing I did was demand to cancel the engagement with Tom's family. But my father and stepmother refused, saying I didn't know what was good for me. Even my grandmother, the person closest to me in the family, came to persuade me. Then one event after another from my past life started happening again. Lucy insisted on marrying on the same day as me. She kept pulling my personal maid Mary aside to whisper. When Tom came to my family's home, he and Lucy kept flirting. I finally knew it wasn't just a nightmare. It was my terrifying past life. Since I couldn't escape my family's scheme, this time I simply played along and gave them what they wanted. In my past life, Lucy was miserable after marrying Jack, and she argued with Tommy day and night. But I wanted to see for myself. No matter how unhappy it got, could it be worse than dying with my unborn child? And Lucy and Tom, this pair of lovebirds, now with no one standing in their way, how far could they really go? While I was thinking about all this, a commotion came from outside. It seemed Tommy had climbed a tree to catch birds. I walked out helplessly. Tommy, have you finished your lessons today? None of your business. True, it's none of my business. But when your dad comes back and checks your work, I'm not the one getting punished. You're so annoying. I just hate studying. Heh, your grades must be bad too. Otherwise, why would your dad hate you so much? Young master, you can't speak to madam like that. So what if I do? In this manner, my dad is number one, I'm number two. What is she? Madam, he's just a child. Please don't take it to heart. It's fine. I smiled faintly. He's not wrong. I didn't know if Tommy was just talking nonsense, or if he had sensed my family's attitude from the sedan switch incident. My father did hate me. Of all the daughters born to concubines, I was the one he looked down on the most. Back then, my mother was only a maid serving beside grandmother, but my father took advantage of her after drinking. After she gave birth to me, not only did he refuse to acknowledge me, he even suspected I was my mother's child with some random man. In despair, my mother went up the mountain alone one night. She never came back. Only then did grandmother step in angrily and raise me herself. So when Lucy refused to marry into the general's manor and become a stepmother, my father naturally targeted me first. He didn't care that I wasn't even at the best age for marriage yet, or that Jack was more than 10 years older than me. Then tell me, what are you? The second young master of the general's manor. Jack's voice suddenly came from behind, pulling me from my memories. I was about to take the cloak Jack had removed. But he suddenly picked me up and strode toward the bedroom. The maid's laughter came from behind us. After a brief moment of panic, I immediately wrapped my arms around his neck, acting soft and obedient. Maybe because he was always busy with military affairs, and because he was already over 30 with a child. I had never imagined he would be this energetic. But that was fine, I had to hold on to him. Before he got tired of me. General, according to tradition, after a daughter marries, she should return home with her husband. Are you free these days? Jack stayed silent, watching me quietly. With his current status, it would be normal if he didn't want to deal with my family's empty formalities. In my past life, Jack never went back with Lucy. I kept smiling, but in my heart I was already thinking of another plan. Suddenly my forehead felt warm. I overlooked it. We won't make trouble today. Tomorrow morning I'll have gifts prepared and go with you all day. I quickly agreed. After Jack fell asleep, I touched my forehead, and my heartbeat suddenly sped up a little late. The next day when we returned to my family home, I didn't know if it was coincidence or if they had heard in advance. Lucy and Tom were actually there too, chatting warmly with my parents in the front hall. When they noticed Jack and Tommy coming in, Father hurriedly stood to greet them and ordered 2 chairs brought over. Mom, why aren't they bringing you a chair? The entire room instantly went quiet, and I almost laughed to spite myself. The first time Tommy called me Mom was actually in this situation. Why didn't they bring me a chair? Because my father was used to ignoring me, the concubine's daughter. Tommy's one word seemed to wake him up. No matter what, I was now the general's wife. He quickly ordered 3 more chairs, and only then did the 3 of us sit down. Sister Anna, having a son must be so comforting. I hope the child I'm carrying is also a good son who honors his parents. Her words were clearly mocking that Tommy wasn't my biological son, and that I was only someone's stepmother. I was about to clap back, but Tommy opened his mouth faster than I did. So, daughters can't be filial? Or are you saying you as a daughter aren't filial so you know from experience? Young lord, watch your words. It seems your general's manor focuses on martial arts and neglects proper manners. Lucy is your aunt. How can you speak to her like that? Tommy pouted, while Jack smiled faintly and took a sip of tea. Top scholar Tom, now you're talking manners with my son? On your wedding day, I'm afraid you didn't even bow in ceremony. You went straight to the bridal chamber. Tom went silent at once. Tommy tilted his head and looked at him. Uncle, are your eyes bad? My mom is way prettier than Aunt Lucy. How did you mistake the bride in the bridal chamber, or did you do it on purpose? Lucy trembled with anger. This was probably her first time being treated like this in her own home. My stepmother quickly pushed Lucy, signaling her to help say something. Enough, what about our family's dignity? I came to pay respects to father-in-law. I heard you love tea, and His Majesty gifted me some pre-Qingming Longjing the other day. For today's return visit, I had some included with the gifts. I hope you don't find it too modest. How could I? Thank you, General. After that, father didn't dare say much more. Just then, a servant came in to report. The old madam is here. Only then did the awkward atmosphere in the room ease a little, and Lucy seemed to catch her breath again. Seeing how close you and the General are now as your sister, I can finally relax. But you still need to be careful. The General doesn't fuss over details. Who knows when he'll bring home some dancer's child or maid's child? Oh, look at my memory. I forgot you were born to a maid yourself. Aunt Lucy, you should worry about yourself. Maybe one day Uncle Tom will bring home some childhood sweetheart's child. Before you two got married, I saw him tugging back and forth with a woman in the street. She kept saying she was his childhood sweetheart from the countryside. Lucy's face instantly fell and she glared at Tom. Lucy, she was just an old neighbor from the countryside. A neighbor? But I heard top scholar Tom was once engaged to her. Lucy clenched her fists and was about to question him when grandmother reached the door. Everyone stood to greet her. Anna, come here. I forgot to give you some of your dowry. I walked out with grandmother, while Lucy's resentful voice came from behind us. Grandmother, whenever there's something good, you give it to Anna. Have you forgotten I'm the legitimate daughter? Grandmother turned back and gave me a helpless smile, telling me not to stoop to her level. Anna, are you doing well in the general's manor? Have you been wronged? Everything is fine. Jack treats me very thoughtfully. Tommy is a little rowdy, but he's not truly badly behaved. Grandmother. This gold bracelet was given by the Empress Dowager. The dowry you already gave me was much richer than my sister's. I really shouldn't take this bracelet too. But grandmother insisted on putting it on me. I sighed. Grandmother, you knew about the bridal sedan switch too, didn't you? Anna, don't blame me. I had to think about the family too. Grandmother is the only person in the family who treated me well. No matter what, I'll repay you and honor you. But I'm also the lady of the general's manor now. Compared with my birth family, I'll naturally plan more for the general's manor. Grandmother looked at me for a long time, then sighed too. I knew that our bond as grandmother and granddaughter had begun to fade from the moment I married out. I took out an envelope stuffed with banknotes and handed it to her. I heard you went back to ask our parents for money a few days ago, and they refused. So you came to laugh at me? Anna, now you're living well, loved by the general, listened to by your husband, and pregnant. But what about me? You only have this good life because I switched the wedding sedan. Otherwise, Mike's rotten marriage would have been yours. Had I known, I might as well have become a stepmother. At least I wouldn't have lost my own child. You chose your own path. You regret it because your life is bad now. If you had chosen to be a stepmother, you might not have ended up as well as I did. In my past life, after Lucy married Jack, she wasn't happy either. Jack slept in the barracks every night and later even took Tom there with him. He also took 2 concubines, and from then on, he stopped returning to the general's mansion. Lucy used those gaps to cheat with Mike. Thinking of everything from both lives, I felt emotional and shook the envelope in my hand. Do you want it or not? Lucy gritted her teeth and snatched it away. I laughed softly. Lucy, do you know why our parents wouldn't even give you a few hundred taels? Because they've been busy preparing betrothal gifts for second brother and buying an official post for third brother. Money is needed everywhere. Lucy, no matter how much they dote on you, can they dote on you more than our brothers? All day, you only compare yourself to us sisters. Compared to us, yes, you're our parents' treasure. But in front of the sons, what are you? Have you ever really seen your place in that family? Mike tormented you, and you cried every day wanting a divorce. Did our parents ever treat you kindly? Now, because they don't value you, Mike has only gotten worse and looks down on you more and more. Lucy's expression shifted, and she fell silent. No third person knew about our conversation. That seed was finally planted. From that day on, people in the capital slowly noticed that the top scholar's wife seemed to have changed. She became much gentler and humbler, and even helped her husband pick concubines. The couple actually looked as harmonious as when they first married. But just as the top scholar's wife seemed to be doing better, the top scholar suddenly fell ill, sweating all day, with a sore back and weak legs, unable to get out of bed. People said Mike had ruined his body through excessive indulgence, while Lucy stayed by his side day and night. She personally made soup and fed him medicine, and went to the temple every day to kneel and pray, donating huge amounts of incense money. Her reputation as a virtuous wife quickly spread through the capital. Unfortunately, not long after, Mike still died. On the day of the funeral, Lucy cried until she fainted. She nearly threw herself into the coffin. When His Majesty and the Empress heard about it, they admired her and granted her an honorary title. Jack told me the news. My due date was near and I rarely went out anymore. Jack chatted about it while rubbing oil on me. If you were in Lucy's position, what would you do? I answered honestly. I definitely wouldn't have done as well as her. I'm much dumber than she is. That's because you didn't have a kind sister to point you in the right direction. I froze and met his knowing, smiling eyes. So he had known all along. My private dealings with Lucy had never escaped the eyes of this great general. Later, I heard Lucy still often visited our parents' home, until they started hinting that she, now an honored lady, should help support the brothers. After that, Lucy stopped going back much. One day I brought gifts to visit Grandma. Sigh, the way she is now, she really is unfilial. For a moment I didn't know how to answer. Not long after, Lucy left the capital. The last news I heard from her was a letter she sent saying she planned to settle in Jingnan and run a small business. I wrote back, wishing her a smooth life ahead. On the day my daughter was born, everyone in the general's mansion was overjoyed. In this life, I finally protected my happiness. I'm grown up now. From now on, I'll study hard and train in martial arts. Tom really had changed a lot. Jack and I looked at each other and smiled. That little troublemaker was finally starting to act like an older brother. Now that the mansion had a young lady, Jack arranged for a new group of maids and servants to be brought in. One day after they entered the mansion, I heard Amy training the newcomers. The most important thing is loyalty. Amy had become steadier too. Then you need to be quick with your hands and feet and never gossip. Otherwise, don't blame me for punishing you harshly. You must know how powerful Madam is. Madam will send you all to feed the tigers. Ha ha ha. I'm just scaring you. Our Madam is very kind. She's the softest-hearted person in the world. Definitely the best Madam in the whole capital. I laughed too. Amy had taken something I once said casually and used it to scare others again. But I hadn't been joking with her. Back then, everyone who betrayed me came to a bad end. But there was no need to tell silly Amy about these little things. Hannah, time really flies. Do you still remember the day we first met? I remember. Dad, the moment you saw Mom, you froze. I secretly looked down on you so much. Tom's mouth really showed no mercy. And to think you had such a good reputation in the army for staying away from women. I wasn't attracted by your mother's looks. A few months before the wedding, I came to Lingshan Temple to pray for His Majesty. When I passed by this locust tree, a piece of red cloth fell from above. I picked it up and saw a small portrait of a woman on it. Back then I held that portrait and hid in the barracks for days. As Jack spoke, he glanced at me awkwardly. Was there also writing on that red cloth? May your heart be like mine, and never betray my longing. Was that red cloth really yours? When I saw you that day, I only thought you looked similar and assumed it was a coincidence. It was mine. Before the wedding, I came here to pray for love, hoping my future husband and I would understand each other. Then I guess your wish came true. Ha ha! After I found it, I hung the red cloth back up. I'll never fail you in this life. Maybe it's still hanging on the tree now. Tom got excited and insisted on climbing the tree to find that red cloth. Jack actually played along with him. Ha ha ha. This kid really takes after me. The big one and the little one climbed up together, foolishly searching through the branches. A smile bloomed on my face as I lowered my head and played with the daughter in my arms. Really? How could there be so many coincidences in this world? Baby, don't you think so? The little baby in my arms, of course, didn't understand what I was saying. That year, after confirming I was going to marry Jack, I relied on memories from my past life and waited early at Lingshan Temple. When General Jack passed by the locust tree, I let the red cloth fly toward him with the wind and watched him pick it up. When he later discovered that the bride he married by mistake was the woman in the portrait, how could he not believe it was fate? In life, 8 or 9 things out of 10 don't go your way. But with careful planning, you might still make up for 6 or 7 of them. In any case, in this life I am happy. From now on, the world is wide open, and the rest of my life will be smooth. Seeing that I seemed to be giving in, Tom answered without hesitation. Fine, then you'll be my wife. He had wanted me for my looks for a long time. On the night Jack and I got married, before he went to the bridal chamber with Lucy, he secretly had someone send me a letter asking me to meet him. Of course I burned the letter. Later, I heard he never went back to his wedding room that night. That's why I deliberately provoked Lucy that day. She really cared about it. Of course Lucy cared. Her face flushed red and she rushed over in a rage to hit Tom. Tom, you shameless pig, confessing your love to your sister-in-law in public? Have you no shame? I knew you had feelings for her. What am I to you? I am your legally married wife. If you make her your wife, then what about me? Are you trying to demote your wife into a concubine? Tom grabbed her wrist tightly and shoved her to the ground. I'll tell you the truth. I only married you because no one else wanted to marry me, and my mother kept pushing me. The one I've always loved is my sister-in-law. You've got some nerve, chasing another woman while keeping me around? She is your brother's woman. I'll beat you to death, you backstabbing jerk. How could you face me and our child? The scene turned chaotic as the two of them started fighting. Lucy was fierce, but Tom was still a man. Neither of them came out looking good. Lucy left bite marks all over Tom, but she wasn't much better off herself. Her hair was a mess, her face bruised, looking like a crazy woman. Seeing this, the old madam finally lost her composure. She nearly fainted, and even the prayer beads slipped from her hand. Stop fighting! Stop it! What are you two trying to do? You've thrown away every last bit of dignity the Jack family had. We invited so many important guests today. If this gets out, the Jack family will be ruined. Watching this mess, I finally laughed out loud. Huh, you all really had this coming. Lucy turned her head and glared at me with pure hatred, then started cursing. This is all your fault, you curse. You should have stayed dead, but you came back alive. You want to steal my husband? Not a chance. I failed to kill you last time, but this time I'll make sure you never get back up. Let's see if you can still laugh then. Oh, really? Try touching me and see what happens. That only made her angrier. She stormed over, ready to slap me. Too bad her hand hadn't even touched me before it suddenly burst open. A scream rang out. When everyone looked closely, her hand had fallen off at the wrist. It was horrifying. Lucy rolled on the ground in pain, but still kept cursing. My hand! Anna, what kind of witchcraft did you use? Someone help! Murder! This witch is killing people! Even at death's door, she still couldn't stop running her mouth. Lucy, you really are poisonous. They say karma gets people like you. I don't believe that. But if heaven won't take you, I will. I clapped my hands. Outside, neat, heavy footsteps rang out. A group of guards rushed in and surrounded the entire Jack estate. The scene was grand and intimidating. The lead guard's voice was ice cold. The crown princess has arrived. Kneel and welcome her at once. If even one person refuses to bow, this Jack estate will become your burial ground today. Everyone quickly lowered their heads and knelt, but they were confused. Where was the crown princess? Lucy thought an important guest had arrived and looked at me with smug delight. The crown princess is here. She'll definitely stand up for me. You're dead, Anna. I'll make sure she sentences you to death. The guard warned her, say one more word and we'll drag you out. Lucy didn't dare speak again. After waiting a while and still not seeing the crown princess, someone finally asked, Sir, may I ask which lady is the crown princess? We still haven't seen her. Only then did I speak, looking at the guard calmly as I gave my order. Aside from the Jack family, everyone else is innocent. Don't drag them into this. The guard cupped his fists and bowed. As you command. Does your highness have any other orders? Hearing him call me that, everyone in the Jack family was stunned. Lucy didn't even dare lift her head and bit her lip until it bled. No matter how hard she thought, she couldn't figure out how I had become the crown princess. So I deliberately walked up to her. Sister-in-law, I didn't mishear you earlier, did I? Were you going to drown me in a cage or execute me? Lucy's body collapsed to the ground as she trembled. Sister-in-law, I was only joking. How could I do that to you? Please don't take it to heart. As soon as she finished, a guard kicked her away. You commoner, how dare you call the crown princess your sister-in-law? Do you have a death wish? Lucy turned pale with fear. She didn't dare resist and crawled back to kneel on the ground, shaking. Sir, I was wrong. Please spare me. Tom couldn't bear watching and said to me, Your Highness, she is still your sister-in-law. Please spare her. I looked at her coldly, then asked her if she ever spared me and my children. What do you mean? What did she do to deserve this? This sister-in-law you speak of, does she deserve that title? She sold off my 2 children, one to the palace as a eunuch and the other to a brothel. This poisonous woman did it all. And that's not all. She whipped me, ruined my face, and sold me to a fool. If I hadn't been lucky, there wouldn't even be a body left of me. Tom went pale when he heard that. He stepped forward and grabbed Lucy by the collar. How could this be? Lucy, they were your niece and nephew too. How could you do that? You really are heartless. I had no idea my second brother's whole family had been destroyed by you. Lucy was so scared she looked like her soul had left her body. Now she was crying, furious and full of resentment. Isn't it all your fault? You wanted your sister-in-law, don't think I didn't know. You wanted to take her as your woman. Was my child and I supposed to just watch her steal my husband? You really are poisonous. This is exactly why I can't stand you. Lucy snapped back at him. Tom, don't act like you're some good person. That day, she was crying and screaming, begging Mother to help her. The whole courtyard heard it. Did you go out and help her? No. You were waiting for her to hit rock bottom and come begging to you. If I hadn't sold her to the governor's idiot son, you would have dragged her back to your room as your wife, wouldn't you? Watching the couple keep arguing, I got impatient. I moved my finger and the guards pinned them both to the ground. The guards dragged them in front of me and said coldly, Behave or we'll cut off your heads. Lucy and Tom didn't dare say another word, but even when they went silent, the hatred in my heart never stopped.